Teresa Masuvai never planned to get married. She wanted to be a nun, but discovered that her parents had already accepted dowry from a suitor, and she agreed to get married. The worst decision she ever made, she tells me. 6 years into the marriage and no baby in sight. Life became hard. Her in-laws disregarded her. Even worse, her co-wife disrespected and mocked her. Neighbors and relatives called her Mukumba, meaning the childless woman.
Kaleta mwenzangu, Mungu akamjalia na watoto 5, mmoja akaenda, akabaki 4.
Teresa's co-wife died and left the children in her care. Much as she was a mother to them, the community was still harsh to her for not bearing her own children. Her husband, in his drunken stupor, would say harsh words.
Bila mwongozo wa Mungu huwezi ishi, hata unaweza kujikuta kama pengine umeamua tu kujiumiza utoke kwa dunia.
Teresa sought both traditional and modern treatment, but nothing worked. Neither was any problem leading to her infertility discovered. She says she would experience extremely painful menstruation, even sometimes faint and be admitted in hospital. A condition that doctors now describe as endometriosis, one of the causes of infertility. When Violet Auma got married at the tender age of 18, she thought she had figured out her life. The first baby came when she was 19, and a few months later, she got pregnant with her second child. But both children died when they were each 1.5 years old. She was 20 years old at the time and has never been able to conceive again.
Kuona kama tena nimekawia, sioni mtoto, akaenda akatafuta mwingine. Sasa wakuweza kumpatia watoto. Ndio lazima ikuwe, sababu sasa kama una mtoto, kuna mtu atakuheshimu. Hata watoto wengine wenyewe hawezi wakakuheshimu sana, sababu wanaona ukubura, hauna watoto kama hao.
Life became difficult for Violet. Her inability to bear more children defined her in the community. Her name, almost forgotten, only referred to as Mukumba. Mockery from her co-wife and in-laws became her everyday struggle. Even her husband started mistreating her. She finally decided to go back to her parents, where she stayed for 8 years.
Yakakaa na huyo mke wake. Sasa baba yangu alipoaga na akasema tena arudi kwake. Sababu naona huko ndio kwake alikozika watoto wake, arudi tu kavumilie na hayo maisha.
By this time, her husband was ailing, paralyzed on one side. He needed someone to care for him, something his second wife was not willing to do. Violet, on the other hand, needed a home where she could be buried with honor according to Luhya culture. She went back to her husband's home, and now her main chore is to take care of him as well as provide their basic needs. In a community where bearing children is almost a measure of womanhood, the women are under pressure to get children through any means possible. For Mildred, the hope of a child and be a respectable woman in her community has taken her through 4 marriages. Her first marriage ended after 20 years when her husband died. Her in-laws chased her away. Her second marriage lasted a few months, and so did her third. This is now her 4th marriage. In the process of looking for a man whom she will sire children with, she contracted HIV and AIDS. When she met her 4th husband, both of them were positive. Her in-laws have been anything but nice.
Sasa mimi nakaa kama roho yangu inafadhaika sana. Kwa maana sina mtoto ndio wananifanya hivyo, ama ni nini yenye inafanya wananifanya hivyo. Naona hata majirani wanaanza kunichukia. Wananiambia tu wewe lisha tu watoto wa mwenzako, lakini wakati utaenda, ujue utaenda namna gani.
Childless women living in a rural setting are at an added disadvantage. Childlessness here is associated with curses and bad omen. Traditionally, they are denied some rights. Lack of awareness on infertility among community members has led to stigmatization of childless women. Violet, Teresa, and Mildred all believe that witchcraft played a major role in their inability to have children. To cope with the stigma, Teresa turned to the church where she gets emotional support. At 50 years, she has accepted her fate. After her husband's death, she joined Legio Maria to avoid being inherited by her husband's brother. She has adopted some family members' children. She says she is content serving God until her last day. Violet also turned to God for emotional support. She knows too well that the only reason her husband took her back is because he was desperate for a caregiver.
Sasa anaona tu huyu ni kama mjinga sana, naona hivyo, mimi nakaa tu hivyo.
At 44 years, Mildred is still hopeful she will get a child. She and her husband both understand how to protect the baby from contracting HIV if she manages to conceive. Getting pregnant and carrying it to term is her only priority for now. She believes that is the only way to gain respect in the community. I ask her what she will do if baby never comes. She tells me she will die trying. Namukabo Werungah, NTV, Busia.